ARESxGOD here, and we have to talk about Vinland Saga. Just this episode was heartbreaking, would be an understatement. Just insanity what we had with this episode. I expected it to be focused on the fight between Snake and Thorfinn, which we had that at the start, but after that, just the episode. Emotional damage would be an understatement what happened in this episode. I actually cried out quite a lot with this one. Just it hit all of the emotional notes, the conclusion, the build up that had here, and just the beauty that you have in sadness. Damn, this was just an amazing episode that we had right here. Just shows how good Vinland is, and also them connecting the first scene that we got when season 1 started right now, with finally fully understanding everything, all of the regrets in life, decisions, choices we make, or choices that are taken away from us, and just a simply amazing episode. So let's get into it and talk about it. Now it picks up from last week straight into the fight, Snake versus Thorfinn. Both of them recognizing that each of them are very seasoned and highly skilled warriors. Even Thorfinn commenting that Snake is the fastest opponent he has ever fought. And Snake had some interesting things that he said throughout the fight, saying he's a Mikkelgard warrior. So hopefully we're gonna find out more about his past at some point. He even said that they can't use their real names because of something they did somewhere else. So he's still probably the most mysterious character in the series. But what I liked the most was his shock and surprise at how well Thorfinn was doing against him, and at the same time being unarmed, saying nothing good has happened in his life, referring to Thorfinn, them understanding each other by just exchanging blows, and even saying what kind of monsters were surrounding him, how was he grown up, what kind of life thinking to himself there. And even Thorfinn throwing in some good punches. They're actually sweeping down a Snake, but the way Snake used the sword there to recover himself and cut Thorfinn a bit there just shows how skilled Snake is also at the same time. And even more because he was in control of that fight. He probably would have lost the fight if it was more about just Thorfinn actually going for the kill. But Snake controlled it because he swapped position, made Thorfinn to move away from Gardar, which allowed Snake to basically win the objective, not the actual fight. The reason why they were fighting, for Thorfinn to protect Gardar and Snake to kill Gardar there. And after that, I know the fight was an important thing. Thorfinn, his first actual fight in a long time, especially more after his decision that he made there, what's going to happen in the future with the farm, with Thorfinn, how he's going to achieve his goals with Canute. We have so much more, but this episode, all of that kind of takes a bit of a backseat. And we have just probably the most emotional episode I've seen in a long while. I think the one that hit me as hard as this one was an episode in ID Invaded. If you haven't watched that series, please do, but prepare for pain. We have Arnheid coming in and pleading not to kill Gardar to Snake. Even Sverkel saying he's gonna sell off the farm, give anything to Snake not to do this. But for Snake, this is not about the money. Saying this was the moment when he said they can't use the real name, and what is the value of life. They still care about their lives here. How much is Gardar's life worth, considering he already killed 5 people? And the response he got, them not saying anything, so they're worth pretty much the same as my men, so not that much. And just even though we don't know his full past with Snake, which I hope at some point they're gonna focus a bit more on his history. I'm very curious about him as a character. It seems very interesting the way he handled everything so far. how adamant he is about everything he's doing, and his decision here, stabbing Gardar, saying enough is enough, and stabs Gardar. And I actually thought that was where it was going to end, as Gardar dying without realizing what was happening around him and how others were trying to protect him. But man, this was just a pain train that was coming after me, and I had no idea here, even after that, saying, do you want to avenge Gardar to Thorfinn? But what happened? We have Gardar still being alive. It felt like I was watching The Undertaker coming back, just that scene with him behind like a towering mountain and grabbing Snake. He felt like a ragdoll, man, the way just Gardar, like 10,000 shots of adrenaline, what was happening in that moment in him probably. Snake, as skilled as he was, Gardar was like a god, towering over him, grabbing him and strangling him completely. Even Thorfinn trying his best to get Gardar to let go, but there was no talking to him in that moment, until this is where the sadness started slowly and slowly, in the realization what was happening with Arnheid coming him, trying to calm him, to put him into a false sense a bit of everything is okay, telling him to let's go home, it's enough. And he knew where it was heading from this moment. Let's go home to Halti. And when he heard the name Halti of his child, where is he, and you see the blood gushing out, you knew he was going to die. Even Arnheid lying that Halti is with his brother, finally lets go of Snake. And after that, with him just kind of being calm, having this sort of euphoria about him, the way, just, I don't know how to put it into words, how Gardar felt after that moment, the calm before death, in a way, asking Thorfinn to borrow the cart, and it was Sverkel saying is okay, and him even apologizing to Sverkel, sorry for talking, looking down on you, because Sverkel was still on the ground there, and he agrees. And even here we have Arnheid knowing what was going to happen, thanking Thorfinn, and Einar deciding to go with him to take the cart. And this scene was just beauty in sadness and so much pain, but just it looked and it felt amazing, and just made me actually cry quite a bit here. I'm driving in that in the plains there, Ford. It felt like that scene in Gladiator a bit. It looked so full of color, so bright, but at the same time, when he was dying, he saw it dark, alone, feeling cold, seeing others around him abandoned, but they were just versions of him, his life, his troubles, everything he has experienced there, having moments, snapping back out, back in, talking a bit with Arnheid, remembering their son, his birth, his childhood, his entire life flashing before his eyes. And the music, the scenery, the direction, they did such a good job, and just amazing. I can't stress enough how good this episode was. And we see that the previous master that he had there was a piece of shit, actually whipping him, being an asshole. So yeah, apparently he wasn't that good of a guy, treating his slaves decently, how we've heard a few episodes ago. So fuck you for that, even more after this episode. And the words he was saying for honor and wealth, remembering his life, his choices, and talking to Arnheid, how old is our son, 8 or 9, but no, he was 6, with him saying he lost track of time when he was enslaved, and all of the regrets he had there. And Arnheid just trying to hold it in as much as she could, just to be there, having some fond memories with him, saying that Halt is going to be a troublemaker like him. but he won't have it. Just that happiness right before the end, with him finally falling in her lap, saying, let me rest. And the biggest regret in his life, remembering that choice that he made to go after the iron and to fight and to leave his family behind, and dying peacefully in his final moments, saying, I'll never leave your sides again. And we have him running to his son, kind of a reunion in the afterlife. I hope this kind of indicates a bit that his son is dead, or at least I hope he's not dead. I don't know if we're ever gonna see Halti or find out exactly what happened to him, or if he's actually at the brother's home, but probably not. With him saying as his final words, I'm home. And Arnheid, welcome home. Yeah, that was just pain. Honestly, pain. Even now, I'm trying to hold back tears, honestly, thinking back. All of the regrets, all of us have had regrets in life, decisions. Not as heavy as this, but it still hits you as a truck. And the camera panning out at that moment, and the guards coming in to catch them again, or at least Arnheid. And I hope, but probably Arnheid is also going to die, which just makes this even sadder. But yeah, just portraying somebody's life in this way, and even connecting to that scene with the Icelandic language, if I remember correctly, at the beginning of episode 1, it was actually Gardar and his life. So yeah, pain, simply pain, but beauty in sadness. This was this episode, at least for me, just simply amazing. I can't give it justice. That's why it's just gonna be probably a shorter video than how much I delve into episodes usually. I feel like this is more of an experience than me simply talking about it, and it blew me away. Honestly, I'm at a loss for words after this episode, and we still have a few more episodes, and all of the other twists, plots, turns, everything that has happened and is going to happen now. Vinland Saga, one of the best series and stories, even more after this episode. But I'm really curious what you guys thought about this episode, Gardar's life, his choice, his regrets, the conclusion that we have right now. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. Make sure to check out the podcast, Because Anime. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Keep enjoying Vinland Saga. Bye bye.